Hey guys, by now you have finished Module 3.4's activities with regards to text functions, but we'd like to just bump it up a level and look at the kind of questions that you'll be asked in the exam paper. So I've taken the text formula questions specifically from the 2017 national paper, just to give you guys an idea of how they ask the text questions, because they're not simply going to ask you to do a concatenate or do a left or right or mid function in it. They are going to make it a little bit higher order, so I figured this would be good practice for you in terms of preparing adequately for your exams. So question 3.5 from the 2017 final paper for the matrics read as follows. It says a discount is awarded based on the star rating of the accommodation of a person, which is in column K. So here in column K, it determines what their star rating is, and based on their star rating they will get a particular discount, and then that is then applied to the value in column J. So if you look here in J, there's an amount that they have then got, so based on that they'll get a discount on that amount, and this will appear in 3.5 where they want us to put our answer. So each star is going to give them a 1% discount. So for example, a visitor who stayed in an accommodation with a 1-star rating will get 1% discount on how much he needs to pay, and a visitor who stays in an accommodation that has a 4-star rating will get 4% on the amount that is due at the end of the day. So they ask us to insert a formula here in L10 to determine how much they need to pay at the end of the day once they've received their discount. So this is going to require a text formula, because these stars at the end of the day, you know, they're inserted as symbols, but that is text. And we need to know how much they got, and based on how much they got, we then need to apply the discount to the amount. So the formula looks as follows. We're looking for something to determine how long that is, because if we know how long that is, we know how much discount they then need to get. And we know from what we've learned in text functions in module that we did on text functions that we then need to apply a len function to that to determine the length of that text string. So I'm going to take that length there, and you can see it's going to chuck out an amount because it thinks that I'm wanting an amount. I'm not there yet, but you can see it's 5, right? So it's determined that that's 5. We need to go a little bit further than that, because remember, it's that needs to be a percentage. So if I take the length, which is 5, and that needs to turn into 5%, obviously I'm going to divide that by 100. Once I've divided it by 100, I then can multiply it by the amount that is in J, where is it now? Let me just go out again. That is in J 10. So let's put in there J10. So it's going to take how many stars there are, the length of how many stars there are, divided by 100 to get a percentage, and then multiply that percentage discount to tell me how much discount they'll then be receiving in column L. And there you can see that he's going to receive 183 Rand discount on that amount there. So that was the first one. Now question 3.6, which is going to appear in this one. I don't think we need to autofill this one as of yet. No, it seems like we can leave that one, but we can move on to 3.6 now. Let's see what they wanted from us there. In question 3.6, they asked the following. I don't know if you guys know this, but the 7th digit in your ID number actually tells what gender you are. Anything that is greater than or equal to 5 represents a male, and anything less than or equal to 4 it represents a female. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is female, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is a male. So you guys know that the first 6 digits obviously is your birth date. That's going to be year, month, and then the day. And then that's your gender, and then the last digits I think they use to determine whether you are a South African citizen, or whether you've got permanent residence, or whether you've got work permits, and all that type of thing in your identity number that's assigned to you. So we want to determine, according to this question, what gender each of the people in this spreadsheet is. So we've got their ID numbers in column C, and we want to, from that, determine what gender each of them is. So we're going to put a function into cell M7 this time, that we're going to extract that number, and then once we've extracted it, we're going to then determine based on whether it's a certain number or a certain number. If it's a certain number or if it's another number, we're going to determine whether they are male or female based on that. Okay, so let's have a go at it. So I'm going to start with the easy part. You can do this with building blocks. In other words, you can extract certain parts outside of the Excel spreadsheet and then move them into your formula if you don't want to do it all in one go. But I'm going to break it up into pieces as I go through it, just so that you can see my process. So first I'm going to say, I want the mid of the ID number field, which is over here. The starting digit is going to be the 7th one. And once it's taken the 7th one, I only want it to take one digit. So all that I've done now is I've extracted the 7th digits from there. But that's not going to help me. Now, do you notice something about when I extract that digit? It is currently left aligned, which means Excel is regarding it as text. It's not a value. So if I want to treat it as a value, I need to make it a value. So what I'm going to do, and let me zoom into my formula at the top here, I'm going to take that 7th digit that I've extracted and I'm going to turn it into a value. So now, when I hit the return number, you're going to see that my number is now right aligned, which means it regards it as a number. Now we're ready to take that formula which we've extracted and put this number that I've pulled out and put it into an if statement that would then tell whether it's male or whether it's female. And that's a simple if statement. So I'm going to put the if statement in the beginning. Let me once again zoom into that function so you can see what I'm doing. If, and there's the number I'm using, if that is greater than or equal to 5, did we say? Then I'm going to ask it to tell me that that person is male, and obviously if it's failed that test, the person will be female. And there you can see, based on that number, that person is going to be a male, and if I autofill that one down, it automatically determines. Let's check the second one just to be sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That digit there is 1, and we said yes. So it's doing exactly what I'd like to do. So it has extracted there whether it is male or whether it is female.